Hello, welcome to Sephra's World. My name is Sephra, and this is my world, and I am so excited about Fan Expo next week. I will be at the Horror Writers Association booth, number 5327. That's in the North Building. I know the last few years I've had my own booth where I've been reading tarot cards, but this year I will be part of the Horror Writers Association booth in the North Building in the horror section. And so there you can come and find out more about the Horror Writers Association. The chapter at Fan Expo is the Ontario chapter, also the Canadian chapter, because I'm not sure any of the other chapters in Canada actually meet every month like we do. Our chapter is very active, and I'd love for you to come and join our chapter. If you're a horror writer and you want to learn more about horror, who the players are, who are the publishers, who are the editors, who to steer clear from, who is a pleasure to work with, how to get your book published, do you need an agent, all these questions are fantastic reasons to join the Horror Writers Association. And then if you're in Toronto or Ontario, come and join our Ontario chapter, because we do meet once a month at the Madison Pub. And I chose the Madison Pub because it's an easy place to get to. It's on the north and south subway lines at the Spadina stop. There is a parking lot right at the pub, and then there's free parking in the neighborhood. So even if you come in by GO train from Union Station, or you drive in, or you subway in, or you bus in, there's no excuse. And plus, I also chose the Madison because they have half-price food menu, because we are all responsible for our own food and drink. So coming to a meeting will not break your bank, and also they're pretty lenient about if you just want to order water, whatever, you don't get pressured to buy a lot of beer or anything like that. You can do what you want. Okay, so please come out to our monthly meetings. Everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a member for the first couple times you come, just to come and check us out and see if we're for you. Most of the best information does come in person at our meetings. I do try to do little catch-up emails in between meetings to give kind of an overview of what we've discussed. But the real juicy stuff, like any meeting, actually happens at the meeting. So it behooves you to come out to our meetings once a month. So join the HWA, and then let me know so that I can add you to the list and inform you about when the meetings are. Plus, we have a little secret Facebook group for our Ontario chapter members where we do plans for things like Fan Expo, who's going to work the booth. And this is one of the perks of being a member of our Ontario chapter, is that you get to go to Fan Expo. And how cool is that? So some of the things we're selling at Fan Expo are books that we've created. Andrew Robertson is one of our chapter members, and when he first came to us about 4 years ago, he asked, why did we not have any of our own anthologies? And in fact, we were trying to work on one. We'd been trying to work on it for a few years. We had an editor, Julianne Snow, and she was trying to convince people to send stories, and it was like pulling teeth, yet somehow, but I think because of the abandoned anthology, it was totally original stories. And so with the group Hex, it's a combination of reprints and original stories. In this first one, mine's an original story. It was actually supposed to be in an anthology, but then the anthology got canceled. You know how it goes. So our group Hex, Volume 1 and Volume 2 will definitely be at our booth. Both these books are chock full of professional horror writers and new up-and-coming writers, people like Kelly Armstrong, Stephanie Bedwell-Grimes, Suzanne Church, Karen Dales, Monica Kubler, Nancy Kilpatrick, Doug Smith, Stephen Pearl, all these wonderful people are in these books. And I'm in both volumes, and both of my personal stories are original, never before seen stories, so it's worth it just for that. Yeah. Just kidding. But yeah, so we'll have lots of copies of these on hand for you to pick up and get to know your Canadian horror writers. Then finally, after those two were done, we finally got the Abandoned anthology put together. Oh, and I should mention that Andrew started the Great Lakes Horror company, which is our Ontario chapter publishing arm, so that we're not in conflict with the Horror Writers Association and what they put out. This is we created our he created the publishing group, and it's also our podcast, Great Lakes Horror Company podcast. You may have heard us over the years. We haven't put out a new episode in a few months. We're all kind of scattered with doing various things, and but certainly we're always looking for more people to join us on the podcast, who are HWA members who want to give interviews or conduct roundtables and so on. This is part of the fun you get to be part of if you join our chapter, if you join the HWA. The Abandoned book is again chock full of stories of wonderful professional Canadian horror writers, and my story in here is called Looking for Mrs. Peepers, and it's an original story. All the stories in here are brand new original stories. My story is part of what I call my magician quartet stories. I have a story in Intersections Stories of the Ouija board, which is where we first meet our magicians, and they have an encounter with a Ouija board. And then I have a story in the Pulp Book of Phobias, and a detective encounters the magicians, and some stuff happens with her and those same magicians. And then we have Looking for Mrs. Peepers, which is Mrs. Peepers is a ventriloquist dummy, and Mr. Peepers is a ventriloquist dummy, and he's looking for a buddy. And the magicians go on a journey with these ventriloquist dolls. Then I have a fourth magician story that isn't published yet. I'm still looking for a home for that, and with them, they create a big illusion that's goes wrong, of course, because it's a horror story. Other books that will be at the HWA table. I have one copy of Borrowed Flesh left. This is from when I was a leisure paperback writer. So I have one copy of this to sell at the booth. I have one copy of Eternal Sunset to sell at the booth. This was originally published by Dark Tales, and now it's been published by Crossroads Press. Has picked up a lot. Hundreds of us horror writers, when our publishers go out of business, Crossroads picks up our books. So I have one copy at the booth, but certainly just order it if you want it. Print and ebook, Amazon, Kobo, Google, all the places. Weird Tales of Terror, which is several short stories that have been reprinted, like stories that were in such small press magazines that you'll never find them. And then it has a complete novel in the back as well called The Witch's Field, about it's actually a struggle with Alzheimer's, which I wrote the book so long ago, and now my actual mother is in the grips of Alzheimer's. So yeah, funny how life and all that, right? And my book, A Penny Saved, I have about 5 or 6 copies of this at the booth. A Penny Saved. Now Scarlet Publishing took over this one. This is a Scarlet Publishing as well. This book was originally published by Sam Hain Horror, and I had 3 books with Sam Hain, and then Sam Hain went under. Captured Souls is also out in print, but I don't have any copies of it to sell at the booth. But you can certainly order it from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Google Play, all those places. It's there. So that's that. And then we'll have a couple of little trinkety things. I'm not sure what the rest of the gang is bringing, but I have a couple of coffins I made, and they're a lot of fun. They have a little skeleton. You can use them as jewelry boxes, store your stuff, even business cards. These little coffins are a lot of fun. So I painted them myself and decorated them. They're all different. I have several different ones, and that's again limited quantity on that. So get theirs early. Get there Thursday. Buy all this stuff, then I don't have to come back. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, that's kind of a sample of what you'll see at the Horror Writers Association table. We will have Bill Snyder, Karen Dales, and Brian Clement are all going to be working the booth this time. Some of the other members may come and go as well over the weekend. And Brian Clement will only be there Saturday and Sunday, and he creator of Ghost Cats, and he has several novels out as well. And Karen Dales has a bucket of novels out. And she'll have tons of copies of everything for you to buy. And she'll be there all 4 days. And you can ask her questions about her books, get her autograph, all that. Bill Snyder, who's actually running the booth. Here in our chapter, I like to make sure everyone gets a chance to actually run things and learn how to run things and learn how to negotiate booths or scheduling people and setting things up for display and stuff. So Bill, I think this is the second or third year. I think it's the third year he's taken over this chore at Fan Expo. We'll be at Frightmare in the Falls in the fall. And another one of our chapter members is organizing that, and we'll be all there too in Niagara Falls around Halloween time. So yeah, so that's kind of what's happening. Come by the booth. You'll learn a lot more about what we're all about, how you too can join. It's easy to join. You can't, we don't actually take memberships at the booth, but we'll tell you how to do all that. And certainly feel free to come to any of our monthly meetings. You don't have to be a member to come to a meeting the first couple times you come, because we know you just want to check things out, see what's going on, what's happening, who are these people. And the more people we can get out physically to meetings, the more productive the meetings are. I know over the last 10 years with Facebook and stuff, people don't feel the urgency to go to meetings like they used to. We used to have 30 to 40 to 50 people come out to meetings back in the day. And then now it's gotten down to about 10 to 12 people, but it'd be nice to get the groups bigger because we really get a lot done at the meetings. And I don't mean just figuring out booths and all that, but learning about, you know, what's happening in the field. Various people go to different conventions and they bring back news and marketing reports and what's a good editor, what's a bad editor, who's a great agent, all this great stuff, how to get a movie deal, all these wonderful things we all want to know. Okay, so come by the Horror Writers Association booth, Fan Expo. We are booth, it's early in the morning, 5327, and we'll see you there. Okay, have a fantastic day.